spin with her? Well... CCB 353.
Oh, wow, did you hear that? Oogla boogla! Oogla boogla! Yes, that's right. It works pretty good. You just get one of these radios, these old kind of radios, and you go like this. Oh, do you hear that? Oh, look at that. Oh, guys, that's a... Anyways. Yeah, the old EVP readers, huh? Now, see, on here we actually have real people telling real stories that really happened to them. Alright, I don't know who's going to be new here tonight, however, so I don't even know how long the show's going to last. But hopefully people will call in. Right? Right. What's that right there, Black Rose? What is that right there? That YouTube link. Can't play YouTube videos. What is it? You put this video in here? Why would you put that video in here? Oh, you mean so people can share it or something? Oh, okay. I don't know what that works, that one link where there's a bee, like those bees in there. I don't know how that works sometimes. Yeah, so go out and share that link really quick, because I don't think there's... I don't know if... I wasn't able to put out all the notifications like on my regular channel, and then on here I was busy, and then came on around 8. Yeah. Yeah, I always get leery when people have too many stories. Then they become less believable at that point. It's like if you have a couple that are just like, wow, then it sort of makes sense. Yeah. Woo! There we go. Gotta get ready for the stories. Oh, there's 35 in here now. Maybe once we get to like 60 or something, we can open up the phone lines. Yeah. Well, I'll get rid of me for a minute. You can see what's behind me. Here we go. Yes. Just waiting for people to show up. Letting you look at the spooky background. Plus my wife had to make something to eat real quick. I always feel bad. Our house is kind of small. How many we got here so far? Hey, there's only 39. Well, you got to get up to at least 60 or we'll just call it a day. You know, normally we get over 100 in here. So hurry up and get out and get all your friends and then we'll get going. Yep, I only see 41. $45. Do I have 50? Do I have 60? 65, 70, 75, 80. That's how I should do it, is add more pieces to the show until we get a certain number. Then I come on. So my face doesn't show up on the screen until there's at least 50. Only 43 on my end. Oh boy. Cool. Yeah, the key is that we need people to call in with their stories. Okay? Yeah, I know people have multiple stories. It's okay to have multiple, but if you're one of those people that has one every week, you know, they become less believable. See, here's what... you can't see my screen. Well, I don't have the number up on the screen yet for anybody to call, so it'd be hard, wouldn't it? Ah, close enough. Alright. Okay, so there's the number in the upper left-hand corner. You have to dial the numbers. And then there's a meeting ID. You type that in too, and then it says you have another number, and you say no, then you just hit the pound key. I mean, it gives you instructions. Alright, and then once you call in, then you can tell your story. Aight? Alright. Do-do-do. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I was at this Timothy Lake up on Mount Hood. And I remember people were talking about Bigfoot and everything, but I don't know, it was weird. It seemed like we saw something in the woods. You know, I think it was just because it was big at the time, but man, I didn't sleep 1 second in that tent. I think I actually had PTSD that night. Every snore, every little sound anybody made, I was absolutely sure Bigfoot or some other creature was coming in to get me. Yeah, that was pretty scary, I must say. Well, the thing is it's it's true. I remember being so absolutely in fear and cold. It was just, well, just remembering that was just a nightmare. We don't know that, do we? Bigfoot might kill you. I'm not sure how I can tell. I think... Wait. Okay, it's just me so far in here. Alright, there we go. I'm going to have a little Glenlivet. Yeah, this is for you guys to call in and tell your stories. I don't have, you know, I'm not one of those people that has a million different stories, you know. But the ones that I do have are more, they're meaningful because they're, you know, they're unexplainable to me. So please be. God, who's this Totoro person? Looks like they drank like about a bucket of liquor. Can't even type. Complete moron. So what we're gonna have to do is hide the user on the channel. Goodbye. Alright. So I learned to, like, look at it. Why are you all stupid with 2 P's? I'll be embraced if I was you. This is why George Bush was electric twice. So please be quietin' and get off the stoobles. Wow. Okay. Maybe they were joking, I don't know. Yes. Well, why don't you call in, Gene? You probably have a story, don't you? Some weird thing that happened to you a long time ago? Everybody says, oh, wow, I can't wait for... You know, I don't really have a way to line up guests for it. And the thing is, you know, until we get the channel big, it won't be out there enough where enough people show up to have random stories. So, for a while, all of you need to just come in and tell your stories. You know, even if you don't want to. Come on, Gene. Give it a whirl. I'm sure you've got a story to tell. I don't want somebody to come in and type in the video, skip to the 27-minute mark, everybody. That's when things are actually said. Okay, I'm gonna take a nap. When the phone rings, I'll wake up. Everybody has one, Gene. Everybody has a story. Yes, there's many stories waiting to be told. Well, Sonny, maybe you need to start it off again with one of your many stories. Hey, you know, I don't really mind. I'm just trying to get this channel up to a certain point. And then we can, you know, I think it'll become bigger. I think there's so many people that are interested in this stuff. No, I didn't get a haircut today. Over a week ago. Yeah, you do. Come on. Everybody has something that's happened to them that they couldn't explain. There isn't a soul out there. No, seriously, Gray. Seriously. Well, thanks. Yeah, I don't have my visor on. Basically, I just couldn't find it. Okay, so. There you go. Yeah, we're up to 60. I think it's been almost 2 weeks. Well, actually, it's been 2 weeks because I got it before I went to, golfing. Yes, the number's on the screen. Look in the upper left-hand corner. That's somebody subscribing on my other account. Not sure why it plays here, but no, it's 21 past. Oh, 13 past midnight. I get it. That's actually your name. Jesus. Thanks. there you go. So now we've got 61 people watching, and all I need is for, let's see, how many hours? Yeah. The sad part is I need 4,000 hours of viewing to get to monetize. It does have 2,600 now. The phone to ring. What does that mean? The phone to ring. Sorry about that, Jeannie. Probably isn't really the best channel to be on for that. Yeah, it's dead in here. Why don't you just call in? Or troll somebody else, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing a show, and the show's for people to call in and tell their stories. And if nobody calls in to tell their stories, then there's no show. You know what I mean? I can go on to my other channel and do something. Everybody was so, oh yeah, hey, are you gonna do your personal paranormal? Are you gonna do your personal? And then like they don't have a story to tell. Yeah, that's not what they meant. They're just trolling, you know, the classic people that show up and let's see. Yeah, well, call up and tell the story then. That's not a good story. What are you referring to? Another link. This is the only link that's out there. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one you share on my other channel to get people to join this one. I don't know what I'm doing, Day. If people call in here, I need people to call in here. Because this is what we were deciding, you know, we planned on doing. And it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm a little disappointed that people, you know, they're always like, hey, do the show. And I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. And then I might just have to go back to what I was doing before. Where I just make videos, you know, get people's stories. It just takes forever to get people to, I mean, to watch the video enough times and so forth. I'm probably going to give it 5 more minutes, and if nobody calls in, we'll just call it a day, and then I'll delete the video. Yep. Still has the balloon. No, that was the week before. Yeah, it does kind of suck when nobody calls in to tell their story, you know, because that's like having a radio show where you're just sitting there and the show's about people's stories, but then they don't call in. Yeah, who cares what your voice sounds like, James? Nobody cares. Matter of fact, if anybody comments on your voice, I'll block them from the group, okay? Even if they're joking to be funny. So call in and Tell your story. If not, we can always just... I'm just going to move on and go somewhere else. I mean, the thing is, the channel's called Personal Paranormal Experiences. You know, so sometimes I think, wow, I could come on and tell stories from, you know, but then they're not mine. You know, I guess I could read other people's personal paranormal experiences, but is that really... That's not really what I want out of it. Yeah, I'm not going to beg anybody to call in. If they want to call in, they can call in. But yeah, 2 more minutes. I mean, I got other things I can do. I don't have any old stories. This is a channel where people are they call in and tell their own stories. What do you mean, one truly you agree? I'm not going to tell... what story? I don't have a story. I've already told you my story. It's on my videos. We've talked about it many times. Yeah, the number's on the screen. It's for you to tell your story. That's what this is about. Okay, well, there won't be much of a shortly. I'm going to be off of here in 1 minute. Yeah, don't bother putting up any donation links. It's like, you know, I'm not even doing anything right now. I mean, this is, you know, like I said, this is a newer channel. I'm trying to get the viewers up, and we've been doing some live shows so I can get the hours watched count up. However, I'm not just going to sit here and stare at the screen. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean call Gray? I'm right here. Ask Gray first what? Oh. Hey, I hear somebody. Wow, at the last second.
At the last second, here I am, Gray Soldier Photos.
All right. Yeah. Well,
so, I just wanted to call in and say that, well, okay, a few things. First, I wonder if maybe people are hesitant to call in because they don't know what might make a good phone call, or they might think, well, you know, maybe it's not a strange enough story, but really anything that's out of the ordinary that might be a little off would be interesting.
Yeah, it's just anything that you kind of like, wow, I can't really explain it. Something that happened, you know, something kind of weird, you know.
Like sleep paralysis is kind of an interesting topic to me because with sleep paralysis, people also tend to see some kind of strange things when they're experiencing it. Gray, have you ever had sleep paralysis before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so sleep paralysis, I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's, you know, you're falling asleep, or maybe you're already asleep. Usually, for me, it would happen as I would be falling asleep. And it's really strange because, okay, I'll just say for me personally, when I experience it, I'll be falling asleep and then I will feel suddenly like I'm still conscious of the fact that I'm, you know, trying to fall asleep, but suddenly I can't move and you can't You can't move any direction. You can't speak. You basically can't control any part of your body except for your breathing. It's very, very weird. I personally have never seen anything when I've had sleep paralysis, but I have talked to people that have either seen a strange dark shadow in the corner of the room, or oftentimes it's reported that an old woman is sitting on their chest and it feels like they can't breathe. Now, I've never experienced any of that kind of stuff. But
how do you come out of it?
You see people think, well, you know how I would come out of it? This sounds weird. Because it would freak me out. I couldn't move and I couldn't talk, and my husband would be laying right next to me. And it kind of did feel like something was holding me down. And I realized that I couldn't really say his name, so I would start breathing really rapidly, really weird. And I knew that if I did that long enough, because he's kind of a light sleeper, that he would wake up and then he would shake me awake, and then I could come out of it. But I couldn't come out of it by myself.
Do you feel like you're just as
I've
aware?
never been able to.
Do you feel like you're just as aware the whole time, but you're just sort of stuck somewhere? Yeah. Huh.
I'm aware, and I can actually... another strange thing, here's what's really weird, Gray. I can see around the room, but I don't know if my eyes are open. They must be, obviously. But the strange thing is that when he would kind of jostle me awake, you know, then I would open my eyes. So I don't understand. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm looking at the comments
well,
here.
Iron Cowgirl said, I hate when I've woken up choking and can't breathe. It's scary. I think sometimes that's actually... I mean, I'm not trying to... I'm just saying I get that sometimes too, but it's like if I ate too much food and sometimes I'm sleeping, that's why I take Prilosec, you know, kind of keeps that from happening. Choking on, you know. But anyways.
See, and Candy Williams, Candy Williams says, you feel pressure on your chest, plus you may hallucinate and see a creature or a shadow. So
see, that's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah,
it is weird, and I've never seen anything like that. And I wanted to say, Gray, that I know that I share a lot on this channel, but I have to tell you, I don't go looking for things that are in the paranormal, because honestly, it scares the crap out of me. It really does. It scares me. And when it's happening to you, when there's something there that you can't explain, I mean, it's interesting to me, but it scares the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. So it really, although I do feel I've had more than a few experiences, I've never seen like an actual apparition in front of me, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And I don't go searching for this stuff, but I think for me personally, I know why you believe, because you've had some interesting experiences as well. But for me, I believe for the same reason. It's because I've had some experiences that are just way too strange and they can't be explained, you know, by any kind of actual logic. So,
yeah, well, I mean, the thing is like how you're scared of that. You're scared of that, but it's sort of like in the UFO, you know, in the UFO world, I mean, people get scared of things. They actually did a study on that, like in the Brookings Institute back in the day. And that's why they claim, you know, people claim that they haven't come forward with any, you know, the truth about UFOs and so forth, because people get way too scared because it changes their whole belief system. It's kind of like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, man, everything's different now. And so they decided
well, and you
not
kind of
to.
have to wonder. I'm sorry. You kind of have to wonder too if maybe some people don't come forward with UFO things because they don't think that anyone will believe them. Even though those stories are prevalent, they're everywhere. They're all over the internet, right? And they're talked about everywhere. But you're still ostracized if you say, "Hey, I saw something very strange, and I've seen something strange in the sky." Besides the balloon, have you ever seen anything weird in the sky, Gray?
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I was driving. I mean, I wasn't driving, but I mean, I was in the back seat, and we saw this little, like, silver little disc. I lived in New Mexico, and I saw this little sort of shot in the clouds, and my dad saw it too. We were like, "Whoa," you know, but that was about it.
Wow! So you and your dad both saw it.
Yeah, we were looking. He goes, I think he's even the one that said, "Hey, look at that!" And we looked up there, and it was like, boop, you know, just. It was right there and then shot behind the clouds.
Well, they say the Dulce base and all sorts of interesting things are there in New Mexico, so that might not be too surprising, really.
Yeah, they seem to like the areas like the Southwest because there's not as many people. It's more wide
vast
open.
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I know for me, for what, okay, so I will share my experience about what I saw in the sky.
Well, there you go.
So all right, so we were, and I don't really, you know, the thing is I really don't share a lot of these stories just with my husband, because I think, I'm always afraid that people are just going to think, you know, you're just really weird, which that's fine, but you know, they might think I'm crazy.
It's okay to be weird.
But I really did see it. I was with my cousin. He was driving me home. We were driving on a road that had a couple of stores on it. It's Twin Falls, Idaho. It's a very small town. It's not huge. So we were on this long road back to my house, and there's just a few things. There was a restaurant and a mattress store, and right at the mattress store is where you would turn right to go to my house. And so as we're getting ready to turn, right above the mattress store, I would say maybe about, it didn't seem like it was very far, maybe 80 feet, 100 feet in the air, there was what looked like a burning ball of fire just hovering over it. And we were looking at it like, and he actually, I remember we had turned down the road and he stopped and he kind of backed up, and we both got out and we looked at it, and it was just this big, and it looked like a fireball, Gray, hovering above the mattress store. And how big was it? Gosh, I'm so horrible with eyeballing size, but it was smaller. It could have maybe been the size of our little car. It was a little sedan car, so it looked big, but it also looked kind of, it didn't look huge like the moon or anything like that. But anyway, so we see this big ball of fire that's just hovering there, and we probably stood there for about a minute and a half looking at this thing, thinking, what the hell is that? Is that, you know, I mean, you just can't even fathom what would that be. And then all of a sudden we see colored lights moving in a circular motion, and the flame went out, and all we can see are these colored lights moving in a circle, kind of in a circle pattern, blinking. And so the red one would go off, and then the green one, and then the, you know, around in a circle, and it just did that for a while, and then we didn't see anything at all.
Yeah, I was trying to find your mattress store in Twin Falls, but I can't. I can't show my.
So
my
you would look
monitor.
on. Okay, so it would be on Pole Line Road.
Yeah.
Is where it would be.
Huh.
And I'm not sure if it's still there, because they put a lot of stuff on that road now. This was about 7 years ago, and
how do you spell
a lot of crap.
I can't show
Pole
it on
Line,
this.
so it would be P.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Pole Line is P-O-L-E. Pole Line. Let's see. No, P-O-L-I-N-E. I apologize.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
God, I don't even know how to spell it. Jeez.
Street.
That would be the street, Pole Line. Yeah. And I don't know what the street is that we turned off onto, because that was a relatively newer street. Let's see. And now they've put so many. I'm not even a big help here, because let me look on my Google while I talk to you. I'm so sorry.
I can't see it, actually. Their street.
They've added, let's see, so it's Pole Line is the road. It's called Pole Line Road.
Oh, road. Okay.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I can't show my monitor. It's black for some reason. But.
Oh, dang. Okay, and you know what? I did. So it is P-O-L-E-L-I-N-E, so Pole Line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just 2 words. It's 2 words.
Might help. Yeah, it might help if I give you the right, you know, spelling. That might help.
Yeah, it's actually just Pole Line Road.
Okay. Yep, it's just one.
And let's see if there's a mattress store.
Let's see. Yeah, and there has been so many changes, so I'm actually looking at it on the maps too to try to.
There is one on there. It's called Everton Mattress. It's right there.
That would be it. That would be it.
Yeah, it's right off of that. And there's a couple that are sort of a few blocks off, but this one's right on there.
No, that one sits right on it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then right there should be a road.
Yeah, Canyon Crest Drive or something.
Yep. So that was it. And so when I saw this thing, I just kept asking my cousin over and over, Gray, do you see this? Are you seeing this? Is this real? Like, pinch me. I needed to make sure that he was actually seeing it, because I really thought it was, you know, I mean, it just didn't seem very, it seemed surreal to me. And of course, ever since then, I've been looking up in the skies, and I've never seen anything since, but
let me try to get this.
Oh, go ahead.
So you can see if it's the right one. Let's see. I'm just trying to get the... Oh, that's not the right one. Okay. Hey, you keep going. I'm just trying to get people so they can see what we're talking about a different way. But go ahead. You can keep going on your story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I was reading the chat. So, you know, so he went ahead and took me home, and I think this actually might have been closer to 10 years ago, because it was before, I didn't even have a cell phone back then. I was very resistant to it. Now, cell phones were pretty prevalent around then, but I just didn't care to have one. So I still had my landline. So unfortunately, no pictures were taken that night. But I'm just curious if anyone in chat has seen anything strange in the sky, and whether or not, you know, what it looked like, and if they have ever, because I have listened to Coast quite a bit too, and I know that I've heard other people that have called in and mentioned seeing a fireball type.
Hey, can you see the video at all? Because this is where I have it right here. It's on the screen.
Well, okay, let me turn down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to view it, Gray, because I'm using my phone. So I'm afraid if I push play on the screen, I think it's going to play the audio, and that might... Let me see. That's
funny. This guy's in this... Well, no, what's funny is there's a guy in this truck, and he's flipping off Google Earth or something. Look at this. Am I getting this wrong or what? Look at that. look at that. That's classic right there.
Okay.
I gotta. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I gotta keep
that. That is really funny. Okay, so the audio is gonna. Oh, yep. That's it, Gray. That's it right there. And I'm not gonna stay on the screen for very long because I don't want the audio to get all wonky. So yep, that's it right there.
Where'd I go?
And there should be a light pole or a power line, like
so right
some
here,
kind of power line, or maybe a light pole right there. So that's right above that is where we saw it.
Yeah, just like up here in the air.
Yep, that's where we saw it. And so what the strange thing to me, I guess, so yeah, the fireball, that's pretty strange. And it's so weird because it looked like flames, Gray. It was so weird. But what was stranger is when that flame just suddenly went out, and then all of a sudden we are seeing these lights that are rotating in a circular formation. So if that's not a UFO, I don't know what the hell it could have been.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you actually saw one.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my I won't go too much into it because it's not my stories, but I will say that my husband's father he's a truck driver, and it seems like he's actually seen more UFOs over Twin Falls, Idaho, than he did out on the road. So he's claimed to have seen quite a few. So take that with what you will.
Wow, so there's like if you drive down that road, it's just a huge drop off, like a bluff, right? On the other side.
Yeah, so there's a big canyon. So that fits. Huh. It's not very far from the Snake River Canyon.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's probably
a little golf course down there too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a golf course down there. I used to bartend down there.
Look at this crazy.
And it's a beautiful canyon.
Oh my God! Yeah. Look at this area. I'm like in this little. Looks like you can drive. I wonder if there's a street view down here.
There probably is. Yeah, it's a big recreational area down there. I kayak down there. We fish down there. People rock climb. The canyon is kind of our hallmark here in Twin Falls. And Twin Falls is one of the few places in the United States where you can base jump off of a bridge. base jumping is not
Yeah.
illegal per se, but there's not a lot of places
Yeah.
for insurance purposes that will allow you to do that.
Yeah, just let the. Yeah, I think that just means you're dumb. Okay, jumping off something
Yeah.
like that. All right, let's be honest. But look at this. This is.
I wouldn't do it.
Wow, that is a cool looking canyon. I got to give you that.
Yes,
Very cool.
it's a very interesting area, and I actually just came across something on YouTube that someone had said that they had spotted Sasquatch in that area, and I thought, you know, it's a very beautiful area, but it doesn't look very squatchy to me. I don't think.
Yeah, it's like, where would he hide? Right? Under
Right.
a rock, little tiny rock.
Native Americans believe, Gray, that there's actually two different kinds of Sasquatch.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
a
and
Yeti and a...
this is everyone from Northern Cheyenne to, you know, Lakota. My brothers are both married to Native women. We're Native, and yeah, there's kind of an interesting thing about Sasquatch that they say that there's two different kinds. There's well, the way my sister-in-law explained it is that there are the gray ones and the brown ones, and that one is friendly, the brown ones are friendly, and that the gray ones are more likely to steal your children. Now that sounds silly, but it is interesting to note that Native Americans have that folklore back through a lot of their stories of Sasquatch that would steal and eat your children. And then not very far from here, well, about 100 or so miles, maybe a little bit further, down in Nevada, there's a place called Jarbidge, Nevada. It's very cool. It's a very remote, old western town. It's an old living ghost town. Year-round residents, there's 14 people living there. But what's interesting about that place is the name, Jarbidge. The native word was Jahawabidge, which means man-eating giant. So, no, not to get too off topic, but Native Americans believe that there are Sasquatch that live in the forest and that there are some that live amongst the rocks.
Yeah, it just seems like over all these years, we, you know, like I'd like to, I mean, it seems like it's possible. It just seems like, wow, I'd like to see one. You know, like a literal, with all the cameras out there now and everything. I'd like to see one of those.
Well, and they, you know, I think, I don't know. I can't say for sure, Gray, because I'm not an expert on any of it. But, you know, not a lot of people can catch evidence of ghosts either. So, you know, last time you and I talked, we talked about how the Native Americans also believe that there are like 7 planes of existence. So there's different planes of existence all running parallel with ours. So then I just wonder, well, if we don't see ghosts all the time, if we don't see strange things all the time, but they're able to come in and leave unnoticeably, like maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I don't want to speculate too much, but I just know the things that I was raised with, and all of the Native American folklore that I have researched as well. And
well, you do have all those missing children. You have all those missing children. Yeah, you have all those missing children up in the Northwest. So hey, maybe you're onto something there.
You never know. But freaks, listen. I know you're listening to me right now.
Oh, there's somebody. There is somebody waiting.
Awesome to talk to.
Yeah,
okay, great. Okay. So I just wanted to call in to get you started off, Gray, because it seems
thanks.
like whenever I start you off, then the calls just rip and roar. So.
All right. Well, thanks. Sold your photos.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. All right. So now 440 is on the air. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Well, who is this?
It was the late. This is Lou from Ohio.
Oh, cool.
Okay. It was the late 80s. A friend of myself and a friend had scored some vodka. We were underage. You can look up on Google Maps. Whittlesey Road, Amherst, Ohio. Dead End Street, orchard at the end. There's an orchard.
Okay, what's it called? Let's do it again. What is it?
Whittlesea Road.
W-I...
W-H.
Okay, yeah, spell it for me.
I think it's W-H-I-T-T-L-E-S-Y or something like that. I just looked it up.
Well,
you can see how it's a
very
okay, looking road.
Where is this again, though? I missed that part.
Amherst, Ohio.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go there.
W-H-I-T-T-L-E-S.
Okay, hold on. I'm just about to Amherst. Just a second. All right, now say the name. Say that again. W-H...
H-I-T-T-L-E-S-E-Y Road. Dead End Road, Orchard at the end.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so there you go. We're right on the road. Let me switch screens here, though. Hold on.
Mid to late 80s. We were underage. We had scored a half gallon of vodka. Friend of mine. You know, we didn't have cell phones, so we got some vodka. We were young, and we pulled off on this dead end road to go have a few drinks and talk about where we were going to go. We didn't have cell phones, so it's word of mouth. We were going to talk about where to go find girls and party. We had a half gallon of vodka.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a scary road. When you say Orchard, where is it on the end of this road? Like, there's a highway there too, right? Highway 2 or whatever, or 3. It kind of runs into that.
Road. Baumhart Road. Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a little elevated from the Orchard. So we go down this dead end road to pull off where kids used to go off to take girls and party and hide from the cops. So mid to late 80s.
Okay, got it.
I have rarely spoken of this to anyone over the 30 years since it happened. So we start to drink vodka. I have some rock and roll playing on the radio. And we're like, what are we going to do tonight? You know, we're drinking like 3 drinks. We're going to go home and shower and go out and find girls. And suddenly, on my radio, we hear, and I've looked this up online, other people had similar experiences. It was not a human language. We heard someone talking on the radio like an alien. I don't even know how to describe it. I can't describe it. The speech pattern was someone speaking, but it was not human.
Yeah, so it was just totally some weird, like, can you imitate it?
No, I can't even. I'm real good at imitating things, but I can't imitate this. It was like an inhuman speech pattern.
So you can't even, like, okay, wow. So what happened after that?
It sounded like when you turn on a shortwave radio and you hear someone from another country talking in a language you don't. But the speech pattern was not human. And I've looked this up online. Other people have heard this similar thing. So I'm like, what the fuck? I look at my buddy. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I changed channels. And every channel has this. And we look at each other. And all of a sudden, the air is bristling with electric energy. Our hair is standing on end. And it wasn't because of that voice. It was just like suddenly the atmosphere was like bristling with electric energy. Our hair was standing on end, and we were looking at each other. And I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I start up the car. Luckily, I've always been, a little bit of an alarmist, so I was alarmed at this. I was like, something's not right. The air has a static electricity, and every channel I switch to is this same alien-type speech pattern, like, like a muffled, not foreign, but alien voice.
Huh.
Totally unexpected. All we were doing was talking about what we're going to do later. We're having 3 drinks till we go home, and, we're going to go out and party later. This is the mid to late 80s.
Wow.
Over the years since this happened, my friend has asked me several times, like 3 to 5 times over the last 30 years, he's been like, what happened that night? What was that? And I was like, Joe, I don't know. I have talked to meteorologists, about was some kind of weather anomaly, and they say no, that wasn't what that was. So I start the car. Luckily, the car started. I put it in gear. We drive up to Baumhart Road, which is elevated from that orchard. We look down as we're driving away, and we're still both like,
wait, hold on.
our
What's the name
jaws
of
are
what,
hanging open like,
hey,
what
what's the
the
name of
hell
that?
is going on here?
What's the name
We
of
look
that?
down the
Wait, hold on,
orchard,
hold on, hold on. What's
right where
hey, hold on. What's the name of that other road that you mentioned?
Baumhart Road.
How do you
That's
spell
the
that?
state
How do you
highway.
spell that? Do you know how to spell it? Hello?
Yes.
How do you spell Baumhart Road?
Baumhar. I don't know if there's a D. It's a German name.
Something like that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really
That's-
do it.
That's the main road off of Whittlesey, where Whittlesey is off of, the Dead End Street Whittlesey.
Yeah, I kind of lost. How did you? I actually lost the whole thing there. What you were just saying, because it didn't work.
Well, did you see Whittlesey Road, the way that looks?
Yeah.
When you go.
Where was this? I mean, I've lost everything. So what state? I was on the road and everything, going up and down, showing everybody. But what was the name of the?
Whittlesey Road, Amherst, Ohio.
Okay. There we go. All right, and then it was Baumhart. Somebody typed it in. Baumhart or Bahm. Because I see what
Baum, Baumhart. It's a German name.
Okay.
You know, it's German farming country. This is farm country, orchards, right on the edge of civilization.
Huh. That's weird though, because the let's see. So that highway goes there. I just want to make sure it runs into the one that you were saying.
Yeah, Whittlesey is off of Baumhart Road.
Okay, there's Baumhart, and I just want to mark it down so everybody can see what you're talking about. And then the first one was WHI Road, Amherst. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. So yeah, they run
See how
into.
creepy that road looks on Google Maps?
Yeah, your Whittlesey, Whittlesey Road, or however you pronounce it. That was pretty creepy looking. Kind of trees all over the place.
We used to go down that street, teenagers in the 80s, and we would take girls there and party. And there was an orchard. You could just pull back off the road and stay away from the cops. That's what that was.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you pulled back, you drove down Whittlesey Street or whatever you want to call it, and then you turned left on the Baumhart Road. And then you we when this thing happened, when the air was bristling with electric energy and our hair was standing on end, and I heard this voice on the radio. See, I haven't talked about this in 30 years. I have not talked about this to many people. Well, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we looked back down where the car was before we got out of there. Luckily, I was alarmed, and I'm out of here. And he was just looking at me. And over the last 30 years, he's asked me what happened that day. It was almost dusk. We were getting ready to go home and get a shower and go back out with our half-gallon of vodka and find the party. Because there was not cell phones, so we had to go out and look for, where to go have a good time. And when we looked back over where our car was sitting in the orchard, there was this flash, like a science fiction movie, like Battlestar, like a portal had opened or something, or like a Stargate. There was this flash, and he described it like old time. When they used to take a picture back when they would have a big pile of whatever on their thing and it would flash.
Mm-hmm.
Old time photography. He described it like that, but I saw it more like a flash, like a science fiction, like this bright flash, right where our car was sitting, right above there. So over the years, I have talked to people who live down that road. To the orchard the people that own the orchard, do they have something that scares birds away that would flash like that? No. There's no explanation. I talked to meteorologists. I said, was this ball lightning? They said, no, that what you're describing does not describe ball lightning.
Where's the orchard compared to Baumhart? You know, like you go down... so where
to
is
the
it?
end of the road, of Whittlesey Road, you go off of Baumhart towards the east.
Right.
The orchard is on the south side.
Okay, so you
That's
go
what
all the
people
way.
used to-
So you go all the way to the end, where if you could, then you could park and then walk in onto the freeway through the woods, though, right? I mean, you can't. It just stops there. There's no. The road doesn't continue any further, right? That's what you're saying.
Well,
Right.
back 30 years ago, or 25 or 30 years ago, whatever it was, you went to the end of Whittlesey, and before you got to the end, you could go south, and there was little, roads off of there where people would take girls to go parking in the orchard,
No,
and
I
you were
see.
never bothered.
I
So
see
we
it,
just
yeah.
stopped off to have a few drinks and talk about where's the party tonight, where are we going to take this half gallon of vodka. We were kids, and I'm telling you, over the years, every once in a while it comes up in my mind, and there's no explanation for what this big flash was where we were. Like, if we would have sat there, would we have been some people that disappeared or what? I wonder, because nothing like that has ever happened in my life.
Yeah. So basically,
there was a big-
you were there. Okay, let me try to recap it. So you were there. You heard some alien-like voices on the radio, and then
And I switched channels. I kept
right.
switching channels. That was what freaked us out.
Yeah.
We looked at each other like, what the hell is going on? This is not a human voice. This is not a human speech pattern. And then the air started bristling with an electric energy, like a static electricity, where your hairs were all standing
Right.
on end. It wasn't
And then
just
and then
your
you
job.
left.
What?
And then you said, let's get the hell out of here. And then you drove to Baumhart Road, and you kind of looked back to where you were, and there's this flash.
Yeah, we got up on
that
Baumhart Road with elevated. We looked back to where we were, and there was a flash, like a porthole had opened, like a portal had opened, like a science fiction movie where there was this bright flash. And over the years, my buddy Joe has asked me, what happened that night? What was that? And I said, I don't know. I called a meteorologist. I described it to him. He said it was not ball lightning. He said that was not a weather anomaly. And I don't even like to think about it. Because what would have happened if we would have just sat there and not moved out of there? I didn't think the car was going to start. I thought that we were, already goners. Because of the way it went down. I don't believe, I'm a skeptic. I'm a total skeptic. I don't, I know, but because this happened to me 30 years ago, when people tell me they've had these experiences, I believe them. Most of them, I believe them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe. Here's what the thing is. I believe what you're saying is something you experienced. Because that's the thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh, come on," But the thing is everybody's had those weird things. Yours would be a little bit more freaky than others. I mean, to actually hear this crazy sound on the voices on the radio that are not human. And then this electrical static like feeling in the air all around you. Then you're like, we got to get the hell out of here. You drive down Whittlesey Street and you go out to Baumhart. You look back and to where your car was, and a flash, just like what you described. And everybody saw the flash, right? Your friends and everything.
Yeah, like a Stargate. Like, to him,
Yeah.
he said it looked like an old style photography when they have that
Yeah,
flash when they're holding up whatever.
right. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
to me, it looked like something like a flash was like everything was illuminated, but it was like a fraction of a second.
Wow.
What was that? What was that, Gray?
I have no idea. That's a good one, though. All right. That's what I'm looking for, people.
We only had 2 or 3 shots of vodka. We weren't drunk, but this really happened.
Yeah, no, I can see that it sounds like it's bothered you for 30 years. You said
Because everything else has happened in my life, I could explain. everything else that I ever saw that didn't make sense, I could explain. There's a rational explanation for why it might have happened. This is the one thing, and that's why he brings it up every few years. What was that? I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I do the same thing with my birth certificate, where when I was born, L. Gray Hughes, the doctor, saw the L and he wrote Lance on there. And then my mother and father, since they were friends with him, they just accepted it, right? So every few years I check back in and I go, is that real? Like, you guys actually let... I mean, it's no, you know, I'm not trying to compare the story. I'm just saying that, like, it's one of those things I check back in to make sure, right? Because, I mean, it's hard when you explain it to people, even just that story that I just told, it's lame. You know, like, they always go, oh, come on.
And most things you can find a way to explain rationally what, you know, like there's some, I've had things move in the other room and I was like, okay, well, you know, it was this or that, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah,
everything has a rational explanation, but this one thing, and he brings it up every few years, and I have no rational explanation. And I look up online, and other people say they've heard this alien-type voice, which has a non-human speech pattern. That freaks me out. When I look that up and I see other people have had the same experience, it takes over every channel of your radio.
Yeah, what's weird is you had not just, it wasn't just sort of one thing. It was a bunch of things all in one moment in time. You know, within a certain amount of time, but all in the same experience, right? You had the radio, the static electricity, and a flash of light.
And the other thing that freaks me out is what would have happened if we would have just stayed right there.
Well, you might be a trillion miles away on some other planet somewhere. Who the hell knows? Isn't that weird? Like, what the hell was it, right? What was the flash?
Yeah, and quantum physics has proven there are multiple dimensions. I mean, will we have gone into another dimension? Maybe that would have been better. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you would have, I don't know, if it would have just been another dimension on this planet or just some completely different place. You know?
Do you want to hear my one other paranormal experience in my life?
Sure.
Okay, there's a bar in Amherst, Ohio. These older couple, they bought this bar, which was a crackhead bar. Meth head crackheads hung out there. They found syringes and drugs and paraphernalia above the ceiling tiles when they took it over, and they renovated it. And they were a really nice couple. I became friends with them. So one day after work, I got off at 11 p.m. I went to the bar, and I was sitting at the end of the bar, and I had like 3 shots. And I never hallucinate, but I was really, you know, when your mind is relaxed, you might see something from the other dimension. So I said to the bartender, the older lady who took over the bar, I said, who is that behind you, down there walking behind you behind the bar? She never allowed anyone behind the bar. And she said, what does he look like? And I described him, tall, John Lennon type, round glasses, yeah. Long stringy hair, dingy t-shirt, blue jeans, walking right behind her. I was squinting, I was like, it was really dark in the bar, and I was like, "What? Who is that behind you?" And when I described him, she started bawling. Her husband was sitting down at the end of the bar. It was like 11:30 at night. I just got off work. He goes, "Thanks a lot. Now I got to hear about this for 3 weeks." She said that, unbeknownst to me, she had a twin brother who had OD'd back in the 70s, and she knew that he was always with her, and she said I described him to a T.
Oh, that's crazy.
He was like a flashing, you know, like you see those ghosts that are like flashing in and out of our realm.
Well, didn't it trip you out? Like you want to, then you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I gotta get the hell out of here.
No, I just said, I said, are you serious? I never knew she had a twin brother. She said, yeah. And she knows he's always with her. He was walking right behind her.
Yeah, but look, but listen, if I was at a bar and I saw a bartender and I saw somebody behind her blinking in and out, I wouldn't be like, hey, do you see that guy behind you? I'd probably be like, holy shit, what's going on? Do you see that? You know
No, I'm not like that. But she said that I described him to a T, and she knows he's always with her. It was her twin brother, which twins are supposed to be connected. Now, do you think it was really his spirit, or was it she mentally projected that to me because she believes he's with her?
Well, if that's true, I wouldn't want to be the husband, because that means she was thinking about him all the time. Well, I don't know.
He was angry.
Well, it's a brother. It's a brother. Yeah.
Because he was going to hear about it for the next 3 weeks. See,
Yeah.
I told you, he's always with me. He's my guardian. But, I saw what I saw. And these are the only 2 real paranormal experiences I've ever had in my life. And I don't believe in... No, I watch those paranormal shows, and I think that some of the people, I don't know what percent, but they really experience these things.
Yeah. Like, you're like that, right? But it was a radio station. Oh, wow. There it is. It had the alien sound. I got my radio to do the... I was going to try to do some EVP readings. See, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Okay?
I don't believe in it either.
But the thing is...
I'm telling you, I'm the biggest skeptic in the world, and I try to find a rational explanation for everything.
No, but I believe that you saw... Here's the thing is... See, I don't believe that people can do EVP or like these psychic detective types. I don't believe in them at all. But the thing is, I believe that there's something out there. I think there's something... Like, I think that you saw what you saw. Okay? There's just certain things I don't buy. I think people try to use it to, they're just trying to, I don't know what you call it, but, like, people that are on YouTube doing EVP readings are scamming people, is what I believe. Okay? So.
Yes, I believe that too. I'm the ultimate skeptic, but these are 2 personal experiences I had, and I swear to you, both of them happened. And I have tried to find a way to explain them away, and I can't.
Yeah,
I had a witness on the first one, and on the second one, her husband was angry at me because I called that to her attention, that I saw her twin, that I didn't even know she had a twin brother.
He was probably like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he was angry at me. He said, I got to hear about this for the next 3 weeks. Well, so what was that, Gray, that was following her? Was that a projection from her mind because she believed it? She projected it to my mind? Or was it really a echo from...
I'm going to go for I'm going to go for a ghost. That he was there. He was looking out for her, something like that.
Really?
Hey, can you hear that? That's somebody subscribing on my other channel. I can't get
I want
rid
to
of it.
explain that away. I want you to help me explain that away.
Well, you can't. How can you explain that? How can anybody explain that away? Because when she turned around, there was nobody there, right? You were the only person that could see what you saw, right?
Because I was extremely fatigued. I had 3 shots. My mind was relaxed, and I saw what I saw.
Right, so you're the only one.
And I had no idea she had a twin brother.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you're the only one that saw this, whatever, entity, whatever you want to call it, and then, or a projection of some sort. You were the only one that saw it, and you said, hey, do you see this person? And it turns out it was an exact description of her dead brother. Yeah, I don't really have an explanation for that.
Could that not have been a projection to my mind from hers because she believed he was there?
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Is like I can't give you the answer to that, but what I can say is either way, no matter how you explain it, it's weird. So even if it's you projecting or her projecting or whatever, that's all crazy. That's wild, right? Like crazy stuff. It's like
we know we don't use all of our brain. Maybe that's a part of the brain that I somehow got projected what she believed was there into my brain. Isn't that possible? I would rather believe that than the fact that an actual spirit was behind her.
Well, no, but here's the thing: is even what you just said, that's weird too. All right, that's something got projected into your.
She can project into my mind, but we all have ESP. That's been proven. We all have a certain level of ESP, right? Extrasensory perception.
I don't think it's been proven. As a matter of fact, you know, I think everybody has something like what do you call it? Perception, or. But no, I don't think ESP's been proven. Like,
no?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think it's, well, okay, let's say it was proven now. It's still weird that somehow somebody's thought could go into your head and project an image. Right? So no matter how you look at it, what you experience is paranormal. It's not normal. Okay, it's outside of...
I don't like it. I like solid facts. I like the reality of what we can touch, see, and feel. I don't like the fact that, you know, and that's the only two things that ever happened, really, in my life. And I try to explain them away. That's what I want to do. I want to explain a rational explanation.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go find any kind of, you know, somebody that doesn't believe in anything at all, and they'll say, oh, yeah, it was probably ball lightning, and, you know, the same bullshit they say to explain away all that stuff. You know, and, you know, you were just drunk listening to the radio, so all the channels sounded the same.
Shots. I have very high tolerance. I'm a steelworker.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The fact, how many friends were you with at that moment? Just that one guy? At the time, yeah. Like you were gonna drink and then go look for girls or something after that, right? But you were with this guy. He heard the same shit on the radio, right?
Yes, that's why he has questioned me over the years.
Yeah, right. So that shows
what
that
happened.
Yeah,
right. So that
hey, you gotta turn down your. Whoa, you gotta turn down your audio. I think my voice, like, you gotta turn. Yeah, but so what that does is it proves that. It wasn't just sort of like in your head and some kind of, you know, you drank too much or whatever. I mean, did you guys drink exactly the same amount? And then, oh, wow, you both heard the same weird sounds on a radio. I mean, that just doesn't happen. Okay.
No, we had just started drinking. We had like 2 shots each. We were going to go home and shower and go look for the party. That's what you did in the 80s. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't know we had to go work.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So... I think what you're saying, you know, I mean, here's the thing: is all we can do is listen to what people are saying. I don't have any reason to disbelieve what you're saying. You know, what a waste of time that would be to I come up with some weird street in the middle of nowhere and then tell a story. You know,
I want you. The reason I call is I want you to help me explain it away.
But that's not even what I do on this channel. That's what I said. I don't try to debunk anything. People just tell their experiences, and that's it. I'm trying to actually sell it because I see what you're saying here. You've got this friend that every few years checks in, like, God, you remember that time? Blah blah blah. But see, he heard the same.
Yeah, he brings it up. He brings it up totally out of the blue too. He brings it up like out of nothing. I'm like, Joe, can't you just like accept that it happened and stop trying to figure it out? But it torments me too because. Nothing like that has ever happened in my life. Anything close to that.
Yeah.
It was real.
Well, I definitely won't be able to come up with an explanation. And I wouldn't try, but I'm just saying it just sounds like you actually experienced something that you can't explain and nobody can.
Okay, wait. If it was just ball lightning and the air became static and we got out of there, but I can't explain the voice on the radio.
Right, that's the right. That's the whole thing. And then you had a friend that heard the same voice. It wasn't like it was just you, way drunk. You know, I hear the same shit you did. So,
are you aware of other people? I did searches on the internet over the years, and other people have had the same type of experience, where they heard an alien type speech pattern, which was not human.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard of that, but I am watching that show, Project Blue Book on the History Channel. It's actually a show, And they do, the radio's part of it, like they tune into different stuff, something like that. Right. Yeah. People, you got a skeptic in there that doesn't believe you. Like, we didn't ask their opinion, though. That's the whole thing is, Claudia, when people are telling their stories, I think it's really rude that you type in stuff like that. I don't care if you don't...
Listen.
Yeah.
I had to have a few drinks to even call in and talk about this, because I want to explain everything away. But when I watch these paranormal shows, because I had this experience, I know that some of them really had these experiences.
Yeah. I think you
I would
did.
not make up some bizarre stuff like this. I would not make anything like this.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself. I just think it's rude when people want to type something in. They never even called in, you know. Like, if they called in themselves, you might be able to... And then what we'll do is we'll all slam their story into the pavement and see how it feels. Yeah, no, I actually believe what you're saying. See, just having a couple drinks or whatever, people always, whenever they say, yeah, we were in the middle of nowhere, it was dark out, we were having couple drinks, and we looked up and we saw this spaceship fly by, and then all of a sudden it's discounted because you had a couple drinks. You know, it's like, who gives a shit? Everybody, that's what they're doing out there. As a matter of fact, that's why they were able to see the damn spaceship, is because they were out in the middle of nowhere having a drink at 2 in the morning, and nobody else is going to be there. So thank God for people drinking. You know?
So people think that because I had a couple of drinks, I was hallucinating.
No, there's one person was in there just kind of bashing your. You know, I really don't. I can't stand when people. You know, you got. I mean, there are people that have called in, I guess last time, and did a fake story or something, but you know, most people don't do that. Well, it was on a different channel actually. It was on my, personal. We did a personal crime story night.
Okay. I'm high IQ. I have a college degree. I have a successful career, but this bothers me.
Well, it would bother me too. Yeah.
I believe in anything you think is paranormal. Try to look for a logical explanation, and I've tried for 30 years. I can't explain that away.
Yeah. Well, she did apologize for saying that, so don't worry about it. It was just one person. Okay.
The other thing really happened too at the bar. My mind was relaxed, and they say that's why children see these apparitions, because they don't know they're not supposed to. Right?
Yeah. It's weird how, like, you always see, kids. It seems like that's always a common theme that people bring up, is that kids can see extra things, because they're not like jaded by life and skepticism. They're sort of open when they're young,
There's something to it.
Yeah.
There's something to it.
Could be. Animals, too. Kind of weird. It's weird how, like, animals, they're really perceptive about, even, like, minute changes in, like, some kind of a weather even. And it's not even here yet. And all of a sudden, they're kind of tripping out. But how come?
Yeah, I've had that before, where my dog would bark at the corner of the bedroom. They would bark at the upper corner of the ceiling, and I would be like, what are you barking at? Like they saw something, I don't know. They have perceptions we don't have.
Yeah. Extra perception.
But I always try to explain it away. Like maybe there was a mouse up in the wall or something, so I am the ultimate skeptic, and I'm just, like I said, I had to have a few drinks to even call in and talk.
Well, I think some of that stuff is explainable. Like, you've probably been able to explain stuff to you. But the thing is those two stories that you told, there's really no explanation. That's the reality of it. So
there is more to this world than what we can see taste, feel, touch, whatever.
Yeah.
There's more to the world than what we know.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, I think there is something else. That's for sure. I do think there's something else. It just seems like what a waste if it was just we're all here just to do nothing. I mean, it seems like there's got to be something extra, right? And, you know, just even my experiences that I've had, I can't explain them. And so therefore, you know, they're personal and it's weird to me. So
then I want to know when, how, and why are these things allowed to cross over into our world?
Who knows? I mean, we don't even know if something's crossing over. All we know is that you're, you know, you saw these things and it was awesome. You got the one story where you were in a bar, you saw a guy standing behind the bartender with John Lennon glasses on, looks like he's from the 70s, and you described him to the bartender, and it turns out it was his brother. Then her husband was like, ah, crap, now I got to hear about it for 3 weeks. And then way back in the 1980s, when you were younger, you went on a street having some drinks, and while you were down there, you turn on the radio, and all of a sudden there was all these different radio voices from Alien, like just sounded totally like it didn't sound human, is what you were saying, on all the different channels. Then there was this static electricity feeling. Then you drove all the way back down the road and then looked back to where the car was. And then there was this big flash of light, described maybe as like when you take one of those photographs. And you saw it as a little different, but you both saw the light. And you were wondering what might have happened had you still been there. How was that for us?
It was a fraction of a second,
yeah.
And we have wondered about it for 30 years. And I'm telling you, I don't believe most people who say they had these paranormal experiences. I think a lot of them are hallucinations. But when you have something happen in your own life, you're way less likely to, you know.
Yeah. Be as skeptical on somebody else's story. All right.
Yeah, and I don't like to talk about it. I still want the answer, but I don't know. And I can explain away that I think we all do have a level of ESP, so I can explain away the bar thing. I think that in her mind she believed he was there, so I saw him because her brain was projecting that to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess we won't really ever get to know the answer. I mean, maybe someday we'll get to know the answer, but all I would do is just say, hey, that was some weird stuff. There's no explanation. And it'll always be something that you'll be able to remember and be like, wow, that's crazy.
Well, that flash over Whittlesea Road, how do I know that I wouldn't have disappeared? There's a lot of people that disappear every year, right?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Hard to know. Yeah, you could be one of those. Well, I always think it's interesting about time travel is that I don't think anybody can travel. I don't think people can go back in time. But I think you can go forward. I think you can, because you can't, if you go forward in time, like I don't think it's possible to meet yourself. So if you go forward in time, you don't meet yourself. What you do is like let's say you're walking down the street in 1986 and you click on you have a little time travel device and you click on it, 1986. And then you reappear in 2025, you know, which is, what is that, 39 years later. Well, the thing is for everybody else that was living there, you just disappeared in 1986. Your physical being was gone. You're a missing person. And then you show up in 39 years, and then you look exactly how you looked when you disappeared. But everybody else is 39 years older. So you're like this person that just disappeared. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think people If you go back in time, that means you could run into yourself. And I don't think that's possible. I don't know why, but that's just how I look at it.
Oh, did you ever watch the series 12 Monkeys?
Yeah, that was a good one. Loved it. There's a show called 12 Monkeys, too. It wasn't too bad. After, it was based on the movie with, what's his face? Forgot his name.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, 12 Monkeys is a great movie. Like, if you're not paying attention, it might not be very good, but you got to be paying attention the whole time.
Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah. So you got to be paying attention the whole time. If you're not paying attention, then you're going to miss, like, really important little tiny things that actually made a difference.
Well, in 12 Monkeys, the series, he did go back and meet himself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I see those shows. My thing is just, I mean, here's another thing, too. Is, so if you could, let's say you sent, there's only a certain amount of mass that there is on a planet unless a meteor comes in and hits it. And then there's added mass to the planet. But, like, there's only a certain amount of mass, and all human beings are made from the mass. Okay, but if you can go back in time, that means you're multiplying the mass that shouldn't be there, because it's like, let's say there's 100. Let's just say the Earth weighed 1,000 pounds. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there to make it easy for everybody. So the Earth weighs 1,000 pounds, and then there's a person on the Earth that weighs 100 pounds. Well, all of a sudden, in the future, that person goes back in time. You still got the 1,000-pound Earth, and then now there's two people that weigh 100. So instead of there being 1,100 total pounds, now there's 1,200. Okay, so if you can go back in time, that means you're multiplying the mass. You're adding. I mean, even though it's an insignificant amount, but let's say you could transport everybody, all billion people, 8 billion people on the planet, or 7 billion, and they all went back in time a week, and they all met themselves. So now we've got two of them, so you doubled the weight of all those people on the planet. So it's a little bit kind of freaky, because I mean, I know it's an insignificant amount of weight, but conceptually you're adding to it. Now if you go forward in time, well, I mean, you get the other problem too, because if you go forward in time, your mass is gone from the Earth during the 39 years you were missing, and then you just showed up. See, that would be kind of an interesting thing if there was a way to weigh the Earth, and if somebody goes missing and the Earth's weight changed, or did it stay the same? That way we know they're there, but if they were actually taken off the planet by some alien force, the weight of the entire Earth would drop by that weight of that person.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that is why none of it is a good idea for human beings, because you're messing with the space-time continuum and what it's supposed to be. Am I correct? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a physicist or anything like that. I couldn't speak intelligently on the space-time continuum.
Human beings are not meant to play God with this genetic engineering, and all. I believe that we're just to live with nature and not experiment with these things that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Genetically modifying things, is that a good idea?
Nah. Well, I mean, I think sometimes, like if you're trying to create tomatoes that don't get, or something that doesn't bruise as easy, like an apple, for example. Like I've noticed that with the Honeycrisp apples that I like to eat, that now they don't get as many bruises on them. Every year they're a little bit more solid, so they must be changing them up a little bit. But I'm not, that kind of stuff doesn't make me nervous. What makes me nervous is genetically changing humans, to try to, or anything, viruses, things like that. Like you're trying to create something and then all of a sudden it turns into something unexpected, and that's where you get the, you know, that's like 12 monkeys, right? You know, a virus that, I mean, and the thing is right now you've got, I mean, not to get way too off the paranormal topic, but you've got these people are prescribed way too many antibiotics at this point. So what happens is people go in for a cold and they're prescribed an antibiotic, and then over time these you know, you get these super bugs that develop because anything that survived you taking that antibiotic is now strong, and if that gets into somebody else, that same antibiotic will have a hard time killing that bug. And then any, you know, let's say then they find another antibiotic that can help, so then it kills it. But any that survive that, it moves on and moves on. And now there's some, you know, just regular staph infections that you would think were normal, but there are no known antibiotics to cure them. So
exactly,
you know, you got things like that.
Now you got a super bug. So why aren't the pharmaceutical companies and the medical professionals getting together and getting ahead of this? Why do they just go ahead and prescribe them and let these situations develop? I think because they're profit-driven, maybe?
No, I think it's more like they are afraid to be sued. So you got these patients that come in with a cold and say, I want antibiotics. And then the doctor goes, okay. But they've now been pushing back. The last 10 years or so, they say, well, no, you don't get... But they used to just keep giving antibiotics to all these people for nothing, you know?
Because they fear lawyers and lawsuits?
Yeah. Well, Lanky Jen, you don't always... I'm talking Lanky Jen. You don't always get sick from the flu. It doesn't make any difference. If you don't get the flu shot, you're not very bright, okay? You got to take the flu shot. I'm just telling everybody. The only reason you don't get the flu is you're lucky and you don't go out that much. If you get the flu shot works great. I know there's a lot of people that disagree, but it really does. Okay. Yeah, well, if you can't take it, you can't take it, but you got to take it. So when I got the flu shot this year, it was great. I mean, the last 3 years I got the flu shot, I don't even know that I took it. Right? Like, it was like they gave me the shot and it was so pain-free that... And then you get that little bump, and then your arm hurts the next day a little bit. But I think they're amazing. That's the reason they create them, is so that, you know, if millions of people had the flu, you'd have a lot more dead people. You know, because there's just a small percentage that die, but that's because very few people catch the flu even each year.
But what about the superbugs from the over prescribing of antibiotics? Like, why wouldn't the pharmaceutical companies and the medical professionals get together and be like, you know, years ago, why didn't they get ahead of that? Like, we could create a super resistant by over prescribing these antibiotics.
Well, they probably
I think
just
it's because
didn't.
they're profit driven.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just think that they. Well, maybe.
But you might be right that they're afraid of lawsuits.
Which is profit.
What was that philosopher way back in the day? A philosopher said, "Kill all the lawyers."
I don't know who said that. Yeah. I have no idea who said that. The thing is,
okay, if fear of lawsuits, which is what the culture we live in now, prevents people from doing the right thing, that's bad. Fear of liability.
Right, but it's also people, too. They demand these things. Give me an antibiotic. I've got a cold. Well, you know what? An antibiotic does nothing for a cold. Zero.
True.
Or the flu or anything. Because they're good for...
I have went in with a severe cold before. They want to give me antibiotics. I'm like, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's a virus. Antibiotics only help out when there's like a bug, like an actual, like, you know, microbes and, you know, things that it can kill. Like a virus is totally different. You know, you can't cure a virus. You just have to wait.
So I'm thinking when they prescribe me antibiotics, it's profit driven. They make money off of that. That's why I think they do it.
Yeah.
Why would they do it? Why would they do it? If they know
yeah,
as
like
medical professionals that these antibiotics will not cure my cold, why would they prescribe them to me?
Yeah, I don't know.
My cold
You got me.
my cold is going to turn into a virus or a bacterial infection. Why would they prescribe me antibiotics for a cold, for a common cold?
I have no idea. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they just, like I said, they do it because you got patients that say, give me an antibiotic. And then let's say something happened to them later. Then they say, I asked you for an antibiotic. And then they get sued. So then they just, but now the doctors actually fight back and say, no, I'm not giving you an antibiotic. You don't need one.
As they should.
Yeah. They should have done it before. But at least I think technology's up there where they keep inventing new, antibiotics, that kind of thing. So, but, it might be a time where you kind of run out, like you can't come up with a new one.
Yes. Aren't we way overdue for a pandemic? In human history, aren't we way overdue for a pandemic?
Oh, wait, hold on a second. My wife's really mad at Blue. My dog, sorry. I guess he pooped somewhere. Uh-oh. He doesn't like going outside when it's raining and cold. I don't mean to change the topic, but she just came in the room and was mad at Blue. Poor Blue. Oh, God. He was walking around. I guess he pooped somewhere. Holy shit. Anyways. Hey, check it out. I got another call coming in. I got to get this one. But hey, you had a good call. We could not figure out what happened now.
Okay, this was all real. I swear.
No,
everything.
I believe you. I believe you.
I had to get up my nerve to even call in and talk about this because I don't talk about it.
All right.
I'm a skeptic.
Yeah.
I try to explain everything, and I try to find a rational explanation for everything. But these two things really happened in my life.
Yeah. Well, I got a 541s on a hold here, so I got to get them. But hey, I appreciate you calling in. You have to call in again sometime. Well,
okay.
Maybe we'll talk about some of this other crazy stuff. All right. Have a good one.
I love your show. I love your show.
Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right. See you. Bye. All right, 541's on the air.
Hey, this is Kelly in Oregon.
Hey.
Hello. Oh, hi. I wasn't gonna call in, but I thought, okay, I'll just quickly tell my little freaky story.
And what was that?
Okay. So,
tell us the freaky story,
Kelly. This is crazy.
Tell us the freaky story,
I'm so
Kelly.
nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous, Jesus.
Okay,
Yeah.
So here's my story. I moved into my house in 2006, and I used to live in town. I moved out to the country. It's a big old farmhouse, 5 acres. I was like, oh, this is so romantic. Like, we're going to restore this old farmhouse. So I moved in, and a half hour after signing the paperwork to buy the house, I was bringing my first box into the kitchen. A pipe exploded in the kitchen, destroyed the whole kitchen, the floor, everything. Like, it was a total loss of the kitchen area and half the house pretty much. So we were like, me and my husband were like, you know what, that's okay. Stuff happens. And so we did a settlement and all that and everything. Well, then a year goes by and we're trying to, make this place livable. So anyway, my health goes downhill. I have to have a surgery. So I did the surgery. Okay, whatever. Then while I was recovering from the surgery, I get home from work and the roll down garage door, I went to roll it down. It was in the middle of a storm because we didn't have an opener. And the thing ate my fingers. The garage door ate my fingers and slammed my hand into the garage door. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? The next day we're slash burning out in the yard. And I told my husband, I'm like, I think the house is out to get me. Like, I am having just creepy vibes. I don't like this place. And we looked over at the house, my mother-in-law and my husband, and we're at this burn pile. And it's a gabled roof. It's a barn-style Dutch colonial.
Well,
and
where
the
is
two
this?
windows looked like the house was staring at me.
Well, where is this?
And
So
my
maybe we
husband
can,
goes,
hello, where is this?
In
Yeah.
Coos Bay, Oregon.
Yeah, so maybe we can take a look at it while we're Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So
It's on Ridge Road.
Just a second.
It's in actually North Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, just a second. Let me. I know where I've been. I drive by there sometimes. Yeah. Okay. So let me get the. All
This house hates me.
So where?
I'm afraid it's listening to me.
Okay. So where? Yeah, give me a street then.
It's up Ridge Road, so it's oh my God, what's my address?
Oh, so you're like kind of in a rural area then. Yeah. On a mountain, kind of a ridge, right? Like you're on a ridge.
Yeah. It's about, it's 20 minutes between.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, your connection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now it's better, yeah.
It's the house.
That's got to be it. It knew that you were talking about it, and then bang, you know.
Yeah, this place is freaking me out. So anyway, the garage ate my fingers. Then we were at the burn pile. My husband's like, "Hey, you know what? Don't even get near the fire. This is just really too weird." So another year goes by, and all of a sudden I have to have shoulder surgery. Okay, never in my life has anything, like I'm just an old workhorse type of girl. Never been to the doctor or anything. So I'm having shoulder surgery. And I still feel like there's something really weird, you know, with this whole house thing. So anyway, I'm talking to the neighbor, and the neighbor lady works at a title company. And I'm like, you know, this house is really freaking me out. There's some crazy stuff going on. She looked up at the title company, the people that had owned the house before we bought it. And she came to my house, and she's just pale white. She's like, "Kelly, I looked it up. Your house that you live in, whoever has purchased the house before you, it's always been a couple, and the woman has always signed off the title before it sold. No woman that's ever owned this house has sold this house." And she went on to tell me that there was a family that lived here before me of 5, and the woman just up and left her husband and children and everything. It just left the house. So then I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do? You know, oh my gosh, we have all this money wrapped up in the house. I just feel like this is really weird." She told me, "You know what you should do? You should take some unpopped popcorn and put it behind the toilet." And I was so freaked out. I did it. Like, I lived in this house for a year with unpopped popcorn behind a toilet. And she would come down here and she'd be like, get out, whatever spirit's in here, leave Kelly alone." And then things got better. And then all of a sudden, like about 2 years after that, I come down with a blood disorder. Totally wipes me out, disables me, blood clots, everything. Never been sicker, chronic pain. Pretty much I'm now trapped in the house that I think hates me. That's my story.
But you're still there now?
I'm still here now. I'm afraid the house is listening to me. I'm afraid something else is going to happen to me. But yeah, anybody that's heard my story, that's heard about, and those are just some of the highlights, because I was like listening to your channel tonight, and I was like, oh, I need to write this stuff down. Like, this really is happening. This is really real. You know, like, I don't sleep at nights anymore. I just lay awake. I don't hear anything. Nothing's happening like that. It's just this compounded feeling of get out. Just
but you watch
my
my crime channel, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm kind of into true crime now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that you mainly watch, and then, okay, that was, because I've seen you before in there. So what...
Yeah, now that I'm sitting at home a lot, I'm kind of getting into different things. So, you know, I've got a thick skin. If I'm into crime, I've been into crime since Diane Downs back in the 80s and all this, but it's just, I've never felt so unwanted in my life, just so something's not right.
Well, why don't you
Something
move?
is telling me.
Why don't you move?
I don't know. You know, I keep talking to my husband. Maybe he wants to kill me in the house. I don't know. You know, at a point, you don't think it's real. You're like, no. And then something else happens, and you're like, oh, my God.
What was the first part that you said happened? Because that was right when Blue got in trouble for pooping, and I had to, like, turn off the mic for a second. What was the first part?
The first thing is we had signed papers. It was really close to my birthday. I think it was on my birthday, in fact. I remember I was at work, and we were sucking up helium balloons and making little voices and stuff in the office, and I had a huge headache, and we had to go sign paperwork to buy the house. And like a half hour later, our first box came into the kitchen. I was bringing stuff into the kitchen, and I tripped over the floor, and I'm like, where's the lights? What just happened? And the hardwood floors were buckled in the kitchen. A pipe had exploded in the kitchen and destroyed the whole kitchen. We ended up doing a settlement with the real estate agent and everything like that. But it was right after we signed the papers. It was literally the first box we brought into the house. And it was me that brought it in.
Wow.
So...
And then it was somebody saying they didn't want you
and
there. Something didn't want. Yeah, like you said, you feel unwanted. Right?
It really does, and it feels like it's just telling me to leave, and it's slowly attacking my health, and just the weirdest things. Like one night we were laying in bed, and it was after we moved in, and we kind of had lost our minds. Like so much was happening to me, and I was kind of the one that wanted to buy this house and was really pushing my husband, come on, it'll be fun, they said, you know. And we're laying in bed, and the mini blind just falls completely out of the bedroom window, and it just happened to be a big sunny full moon that night. And we just sat there laughing. It was like, what else can go wrong?
Sounds like you and Audra Blankenship should. Audra had a similar kind of house. I think she fixed all that, but she was having all kinds of problems in there too. Where maybe you could people want to see where this is on this where this is. Like I got the road. I mean, I don't know if you want to give out your address. I mean, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I don't think people.
I don't care. Well, I've got two Chihuahuas. They'll tell me if somebody's here.
Okay, yeah, me too.
It's 68341.
68341.
And we've done a lot of land clearing and everything, so it's kind of bald. If you look on Google Maps, it looks kind of barren, but you can see the place.
Right. Huh, I didn't go there. Okay, hold on. So it's on Ridge Road, though, right?
Ridge Road at 68.
Wait, I got the wrong. Everything's wrong. Got the wrong everything up here. Hold on. So it was in. Oh. What's the name of it? North Bend, right?
North Bend, Coos Bay. It's all just one big old run together.
So I was basically right there. That's funny. That's where I basically paused the where I was just looking at. So right there. This is a haunted house, everybody. Don't go there. So you can go back in time, too. Like you can go back years. No, yeah, it's got a little bit more trees in 2012. For sure.
Yeah, we had to do some logging. All those trees were dead, and they were going to blow because we're on the top of a ridge. They were all completely dead, so we had to get a logger to come out here and cut them down just to save our house. I mean, it's just been hell living in this place. Like,
yeah.
If you name it, something's going to go wrong. It's bankrupted us, and now my health, we're living off just one income now because I'm so jacked up that I can't even work anymore. Well, and it's just like, oh my God, until tonight, listening to that man's story, it's like, you know what? This is really true. Like, this is, I mean, you tell somebody and they're like, what? But then they walk away. They're like, ooh, I don't even want to hear any more about that. You know, good luck. And it's got to be something.
Yeah, I think it's time to sit down with the husband and say, let's get the, and then say the F word really loud, out of here, okay? I mean, let me ask you this. What good has happened? How long have you lived there for?
I've lived here since 2006, so 12 years.
Right. So when was the good
There's nothing.
times? What what was the good moment like about the property? Yeah. Can you name something?
Oh, there's been... No, I can't. No, it's been downhill. Bad. Like, steep descent into...
The abyss.
Yeah. I lost my career. I was in banking. My husband lost his job, and he had to... years before he had to go to work in California just to make the house payment. Like, it's just been one tragedy after another, and yeah, so we're strapped into this place. But I feel like the house has trapped me in here and has put me in a position where nothing good is going to happen. Nothing has happened, and yet I can't get out.
Yeah. Lanky Jen said
freaking me out.
Lanky Jen said in there, "Hey, God, it would be tough to move out just moving in, but you've been there 12 years. You just said that 5 minutes ago. So, you've been there 12 years. I think now it's you might go, well, just don't mention any of those things when you're selling it."
No.
As a matter of fact, I think you're staying there out of guilt. It's like, because if you sold it to somebody else, you wouldn't want somebody else to, what if a family moved in with little kids, right? I mean, my God, they would have to deal with the wrath of,
Mercy, I never even thought about that. So now it's like I can't sell it. I have to stay.
Right. So you're actually performing you're altruistic. You are sacrificing your own joy, happiness, and health and finances so that somebody else doesn't have to go through the same thing. If I was President Trump, I would
have a mission, I guess.
I would give you the Medal of Freedom award for your selfless act.
I wonder if anybody on your website, what have they done? Have they been in a situation, and do I get my priest to come over? Like, has anybody ever?
Yes.
Been like,
well,
hey,
we had Paul. We had the Paul Yoler. My first personal paranormal video that I made. He had his mom came out with holy water and put it out, and it fixed everything. And then Audra at one time just said something like, "Get out," and then it just quit one day.
Huh. Yeah, that's what the title lady, that's what she did when she was here. She goes, this is a nice lady. You need to lay off. You need to, be nice to her and everything like that. And it was like, I don't know whether she believed
when was
or
this?
she was just doing that for
when
me.
Was the title? When was why was the title? Or like a refinance or something? Or what?
No, she lives up the street from me, and she happened by, and she's like, "Hey, I don't see you around anymore," because I was in banking. She's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe." And I'm like, "Ha ha ha!" I think the house is like trying to kill me. I think that this isn't a good situation. She goes back to work. She does a history of the address. She can tell me exactly. She gave me the house plans and how the house grew and who owned it and who sold it, and she gave me the whole history of the house. And she was just like, "Oh my God, this, oh my God, you're in danger, girl," kind of thing. And she's the one that told me put popcorn behind the toilets. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, what does that mean? What's the pop? Somebody just asked that ironically 2 minutes ago. Little Kelly asked, "What does the popcorn mean?" Let's see. Maybe we can find it.
I have no idea what she was like. Burn sage and put a bowl of unpopped popcorn behind the toilet. And I was like, "You sound crazy, but I sound crazy, so I'm going to do it." And it was there for like a year. It didn't really help anything, but...
Why toilet?
I don't know, maybe... I don't know. Maybe I'll go ask her. I'll ask her the next time she's driving by the house. I'll be like, "Okay, what was the deal with that? Why?" And I'll call back in and let y'all know, because I don't know.
Popcorn and
I guess when...
Let's see.
unpopped popcorn kernels behind the toilet was supposed to spook them away. And she's like, they don't like that. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it lured more of them in. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, you might want to check on that. Like, well, maybe she was giving you something that brought more. I can't find any relation to. I can't find anything about popcorn and ghosts or anything.
She's probably just laughing at me, huh? We still have the plans and everything. I guess there was an old guy. This used to be the road between Coos Bay North Bend and Reedsport. It used to be the old highway. And until it was settled, and there was an old guy that lived in a shack, and he was just kind of a crazy old guy. And then you know how, like in Coos County, things just become a house after a while. It just rots away, and people build on, and suddenly it's real property. And that was like the start of the house, and we could tell because we're redoing the walls and everything. It's so whacked out, overbuilt. Just you can tell a million people worked on this house and did all kinds of crazy stuff that we're having to clean up. But just the history of all the couples and the women that had bought the house and never sold the house just kind of freaked me out. I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, God, does that explain things? Or do I even want to dig further? Do I want to know? The last people we bought it from, it was a doctor and a nurse, and the nurse kept getting called to the front lines. I guess she was National Guard or something like that. And the guy that lived out here, he's like, oh, the house is too big. Let's just go ahead and sell it. And they sold it, but she wasn't even living here when they sold it. So they ended up moving to Colorado or whatnot. But yeah, I think the house hates me.
Why don't you just turn it around and have tours?
Like the Winchester house?
Yeah, well, you're like, well, look at this is where our unpopped popcorn is. Okay, it's right back here. This really works. But then what you do is on the walls have all the pictures of like you being sick and different moments in time. And then, of course, at that point, you'll never be able to sell the damn thing.
You made me snort.
You'll never be able to sell it at that point, unfortunately. But you might be able to draw, like charge a fee, maybe help pay for something. Oh, you got to visit this house. It's crazy.
I'll make money somehow.
Yeah, the ghosts that got you out of bankruptcy. You'll make. Oh my God. It'll make them more angry though. Think about it, because they were trying to screw you up, right? And then let's say you start coming out of it by using them to make money off of them, right? And then they'll be like, "Oh God,
turn the table."
Right. That's crazy.
I don't know. Well, I thank you for your little podcast, because until tonight, I was just sitting there. We were watching live TV. The husband's ignoring me, and I was listening to you, and I'm like, I got a story to tell. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, no. And then I'm like, but it's true. And then I started thinking, oh my God, the minute it pops in my head, the house is going to know that I know that it knows that I know.
Oh boy.
And so I was like, ooh, I'm not going to call it in, And then it was like, oh, I gotta give it a voice. This is really happening.
House. She knows. Everybody knows now. The jig is up.
I'm a slow
House.
learner. It only took 12 years, but I'm figuring it out.
Yeah. No more house. Just as soon as you get off the phone, just say, "Be gone, demons," whatever the hell you want to say. Yeah.
Well, there's not a whole lot left here to kick out. Like I tell you, we've pretty much been around the block. That the whole the picturesque thing of Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, and they're redoing their house, and it's so romantical. It's not, people. It's not. I'm freezing cold. It's drafty. It's an old farmhouse. It's sucking the life out of me. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just buy a different house. Get lucky and not have that one. Yeah.
No kidding. I should have just walked right out of the kitchen. I nope. No.
Probably, yeah, when you went in and some kind of a draft hit you in the face, that's when you would have went, yeah, I don't know. I think, I'm going to go probably not live here. Let's find a different one. Looks like a cool road, though.
Yeah,
like a nice little ridge up there.
It is. We've got deer in the yard that come up to the window. We've got owls. We've got bear. We've got, and you're only 15 minutes into work. It's really close and it's beautiful. Going up the slough on the drive out here. It's wonderful, but not the house.
You're not too far. How far is Bandon Dunes from there? Bandon?
Maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah,
not even
far.
45 minutes, half hour. I used to work in Bandon, and I lived in this house, so I would commute back and forth.
Yeah, so I think I drive through there. Yeah, North Bend. That's where. Isn't that where there's a McDonald's right there when you're coming from Drain, right? When you come from Drain, and then there's a McDonald's, or that's Reedsport, though, I think, right? Isn't Reedsport?
That's Reedsport.
That's not too far.
Yeah, Nicola
south,
Bridge,
right?
the big bridge going into Coos Bay, North Bend. The big bridge, the airport.
Yeah, I know the big bridge that you go over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. That's my bridge.
So are you south of
right.
Reedsport?
I'm south of Reedsport and north of Coos Bay. Yeah.
Oh, I see. And then Coos Bay has the casino, right? And then yeah, I know exactly where.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just drove by there. I was just driving by North Bend last weekend.
Yeah, Bandon Dunes is pretty impressive out there.
Yeah, it wasn't this time.
Wow.
It was snowing the whole time. Can you imagine, you're at Bandon Dunes. Normally this time of year it's 50-something and no wind at all. It's like the best time of year to go, miraculously. Yeah. But we go there and it's snowing, right in our face with 40-mile-an-hour winds. And I have this poor caddy. I paid for a caddy, and he was telling me prior he's moving to the southwest to be warm. And then this one hole, we were walking down this hill, and his hands were just red as they can be. This wind is howling in his face. He's carrying my clubs, and it's just snowing sideways. And he looked at me and he said, "Thank you for confirming my move." It was actually kind of funny, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're having a cold spell down here. We're not used to that.
Yeah, it's a little different. And then the next day we didn't get to play golf because there was snow covering the entire golf course. What are the odds of that?
So you don't just fly down like the rest of them? Usually they just take that flight
quicker.
down. And
what's funny is if I was at my house, I drove to the airport and flew down to Bandon. I actually can drive there quicker. It's 4 hours. But the time you drive to the airport, you wait around, you get on the plane, you fly down, you land in, I don't know if it's Coos Bay or something. Then you have to get off the plane, find something, drive. I've actually done it before. I have my friends, they were leaving their house to go to the airport, and I got my car and I drove, and I got there before they did. So, it's not, it really doesn't save any time at all.
Yeah, we went down to a wedding here a couple years ago. We took a flight out of North Bend. Usually we don't because it's $100 more to fly out of North Bend. But we get on the plane after an hour wait. The plane's full, and we're just skipping down the coast. Everybody had to get off the plane. We had to unload golf clubs. Everybody was golfers on there, and they had to put the golf clubs in the plane themselves, and some of the people refused to even get off the plane because they didn't want to leave their golf clubs there. The plane was so overpacked with golfers, and my God, it took 2 hours. The only reason that people land here anymore is just for the golf course. I'm surprised they don't put their own.
Yeah, if I lived in another state, I might do it, but I just think it's forget it. 4-hour drive isn't that long, Just listen to some radio. I listen to. I have satellite radio on my phone, so I'm listening to all my shows, and it doesn't bother me a bit. But, anyways,
my husband helped build that golf course. It's quite impressive out there. I wish that
there's a fifth one. No.
My one complaint is when they started building that thing, everybody thought it was going to be really nice for the communities around here. Like they would help build up the communities and stuff. And really, it's a city amongst itself. They don't really, they keep to themselves, and it's.
They really, they kind of isolated. Yeah, they made it so they have all their own lodging. Some people do stay in Bandon because sometimes they're overbooked. I mean, what's crazy is, like we've been going there. This year was my 16th straight year going there. So the thing is our group, we call in 15 months prior. Can you believe that shit? So, like, my friend called in, let's see, in September or something, or no, like maybe October, 4 months before we even went to play this year, for reserving the course for the year after that, our rounds for the year after, because it's so packed, It's almost impossible to get rooms. But it'd be great if they made the entire, there's a fifth course being built now too. Hopefully they're building lodging to go with that. But yeah, it does kind of suck. It seems like they should try to, but they're just raking in the dough. I mean, in the summer, it's 300 and something. It's $300 a round because it's Pacific Dunes. There's 4 courses. There's Pacific Dunes, Bandon Dunes, the Trails, and then Old McDonald. Those are the 4 there. Pacific Dunes is #1 rated public course in the nation, and it trades with Pebble Beach back and forth every year. It's just always 1 and 2. And then Bandon Dunes is like 8th in the country, and then Trails is 14th. They're all in the top 20. It's crazy. So
that's weird.
Yeah, just right there in Oregon. You would nobody in
and you could live in Coos Bay and North Bend and never even know that was out there.
Yeah,
I've only been there one time. I drove past there, ate lunch. That was the one time I've been out there. And most people that live in this area, unless you can afford to go out there, it's just not something that the locals even.
Well, there's this one course called Bandon. The first one that was built is called Bandon Dunes. The other one, now there's Pacific Dunes, like I said in the other one. But Bandon Dunes looks like God there was just a course there that somebody put like a flag in the ground, and I mean, it's amazing. It just goes right into it doesn't look like there was no construction or anything. It just goes right in. It's awesome. It's my favorite one, even though it's not the highest rated one. But anyways. Well, there you go. Anyways, we got off the topic of demons and ghosts, but
oh well, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
told my story. I'm cleansed. I feel better. The house heard me. The
be
house
gone,
knows
ghost.
I'm not going to be bullied.
Yeah, right after. Right after. Say it out loud. All right, let's get this.
I will.
All right.
I'll spin around 3 times and smack my husband.
Do it. That's the whole point. All right.
Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to talk.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you. Call again sometime.
Okay.
All right. Talk
You bet. I will. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay, bye. Hello, everybody. Yep, there you go. Got some personal paranormal stories in tonight. I don't know if I'm going to stay on much longer. It was a couple hours. Got a few good calls in there. Took a while to get the first caller. It's a little bit like fishing, right? You cast out your lure, or maybe you throw some chum into the water, and finally there's a bite, and then more fish show up, and they all want. Oh wait, looks like I got somebody calling. Hey, or is that the same person? 440. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hey, how's it going? 440.
Hey, Gray, this is Lou who called earlier about Whittlesey Road.
Oh, yeah?
I forgot. There was one more thing that happened in my life that I can't explain.
All right. Okay, Lou. What is it this time?
All right. It's not paranormal to me because I just counted it as a dream, but in about 1973, I think I was about 7 years old. And the only reason this is significant is because I've looked up online and many people around the globe have had similar experiences.
Yeah.
I would be laying there in sleep paralysis at 7 years old, and the Hat Man would be standing in my bedroom doorway, and I would wake up and I would swear it happened, but I discounted it as a dream. I was 7, and I was like, that was just a dream.
I wonder why so many people see the guy with the hat, because that was actually one of my...
Yeah, if you go on Google and look up the Hat Man, that is exactly what I saw. And I knew
but somebody told that...
my bedroom.
But somebody told that story last week, too, but also one of my personal paranormal videos that I made had the same thing. Like, this girl saw, like, this guy with a hat right outside of her house, and then he disappeared. You know, it wasn't paralysis, though. Like, she was walking around.
Well, I was about 7. We had moved into a new home, and it was an old, 120-year-old, huge house. Like, I would be laying there, and I would be like, well, okay, I know I see this thing in my doorway. I know I'm awake. And in the morning, I would just tell myself it was just a dream. But when I go online, why did so many people have the same exact experience? They saw exactly what I saw. That image is exactly what I saw standing in my doorway. I knew he couldn't enter my bedroom, but he would stand there and look at me. The same thing other people saw.
Well, I don't know. But I guess that's something common. You have another thing that you can't really explain. But it does, you know.
But I never thought it was paranormal. I thought it was a bad dream. But why did other people have the same? That's what I'm saying. Is there an internet of human brains, something in our psyche that is common?
Maybe you're actually just seeing it. Yeah. Why does it have to be something like that?
Wait. Why would this Hat Man figure with a big black coat and a black hat and a black dark shadowy figure stand in my doorway looking at me?
I don't know.
Who are they? Where are they from? If they're real, why would other people have the same experience? I
don't know.
I still don't really believe it. When I go online and see that other people around the world have had the same
I got a question for you. If since this is a phenomenon, let's say 800 years ago, or let's say 2,000 years ago, when humans, you know, just like we are now, when they had a dream, did a Hat Man show up, or was it something else? Because there wasn't hats back then, you know what I mean? What showed up in their visions?
So is there an internet of human brains in our time, whatever our time stream continuum, whatever? Is there an internet of the brains where we're all on some kind of same wavelength or whatever? I mean, why do people have similar experiences at the same time around the world?
I don't know. What do you call it? The collective conscious, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Lou. But Lou tricked us and called back in with another story, everybody.
Because that was the other one, but I wasn't going to mention it because it wasn't paranormal. This is a paranormal show, right? But you might think it's paranormal. I just want to know if anybody listening had the same experience, because I looked up online and people put that image online that was exactly what I saw.
Yeah. Well,
that's weird to me.
Well, go check out the one that I did. It's called 7 Gates of Hell on this channel, but it's just a video. You know, so come back and check out the channel, watch the video. And she told the story, and there was a guy like that in her yard. She was like 7 years old, and she was on her bike, and then this guy with a hat pointed up at the house, and then he disappeared. So there you go.
7 Gates of Hell?
That's the name of the video. Because it's...
Okay. Do you really... Gray, do you really believe that this stuff happens? Or do you believe it's in our mind?
Well, Well, it's hard to say, right? Because if you have multiple, I mean, I know what happened to me with the balloon floating down in my hand. I mean, like, I can't really change any. I can't change what I'm seeing. I don't think, oh wow, that's just in my mind. I mean, I'm out playing basketball. The balloon floats down to me in my hands, and that's it. There's no, I don't have a alternate story. I can't come up with a different reason. It's something that actually, literally happened, and that's it. You know, so I can't. I'm not you or anybody else to experience those things, to know how real they were, you know, but I'm believing you because you're telling the story. Why else tell it, you know? I mean, you know, it'd be weird to just call up shows and just invent crap. Like, what's the point of that, you know? So, I believe
I want a logical explanation for everything. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have one, but I don't. But that's not what I'm doing. See, I purposely, on this show, don't want to. I'm not going to try to debunk anybody's story, right? I can't come up with one, a reason, anyways. You know, so that's the whole thing. I think Blue's feeling dejected. My dog, he's poor dog. I think he got spanked or something because he pooped on the ground. He peed on the floor. Okay, this is what happened. He doesn't normally do this, but he peed on the floor. Then my wife cleaned it up. Then she put Blue outside. And then he came back in and pooped. Come on, Blue. That's dumb. All right, Blue? You don't need to be doing that.
My dogs over the years have done that many times.
Yeah. But Blue,
if it's cold or rainy or wet outside or something.
But Blue was just doing the slow walk, though. I mean, you just wouldn't believe this, the guilt walk that he has. It's like literally each step takes 5 minutes. Like literally this leg just goes up in the air. It's slowly moving, kind of almost jerking back and forth. Then eventually it hits the ground. And then the next one, I mean, like a turtle would blow him out of the water. It's like,
it sounds like he's scared you're going to whoop on him. You don't whoop on him, do you, Gray?
No. He's just, that's what he's always been like when he's guilty. His guilty thing, he just walks like that. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's a shame walk.
How can people say that dogs don't have a soul? When you look into their eyes and they have these human emotions and
Blue, look at Blue is, I don't know if Blue's different than other dogs, but he does things that are very, like, yeah, I sort of go, whoa, that's weird. Because like today, my wife made this little stew thing, and there's these big bones in there, these huge bones, like, you know, so I go, hey, Blue, and he took it, and he's eating it. He's just sitting there just absolutely in bliss, like in a whole different world. Like, you can walk by him, he doesn't even know that you're there. And he's eating this thing, and so we go, hey, Blue, go outside. And he goes running to the door, but then I go near where the bone was, and he hits the brakes like Scooby-Doo. And he runs back to make sure that I'm not taking it, you know? I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some weird shit there, you know?
Yeah, I think when dogs have a soul, like your coyote running out in the wild, he probably doesn't have a soul, but once a human loves a dog and they love you, I think they get a soul.
Yeah.
What do you think of that theory?
Well, I just think maybe their soul becomes more human-like, because now they know what humans are, so then it manifests itself in a more human way, where perhaps like a wild dog you don't notice those things because they haven't been around humans, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. But maybe they all have souls. There you go.
I mean, if we love them, they have to go somewhere when they die, don't they? They can't just evaporate into nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's weird how fragile, like, the life of I mean, I guess humans are the same, but, like, you know, I've had to put 2 dogs to sleep, you know, and like I had a 17-year-old Pomeranian actually, and she was just, I had kept her alive 2 years too long, basically, but so she was ready to go. I didn't really get that emotional, but I just remember, like, yeah, she's just sitting there looking at me, and then the shot goes in, and then her eyes kind of close. I mean, it was weird. Her eyes closed, it seemed like, if my memory's right. But and then she's just gone, right? Just like that. Just like in a really short amount of time. Literally within seconds.
I've had similar experience, and it was heartbreaking. They feel like you lost a human, a member of the family, kind of.
Yeah, I think it was weird because I think Blue, I would feel like that. I don't know what it is. Like, he's the most. I mean, I was sad on my other dogs, but I've had a brother die in real life, so it's just nowhere near that for me, you know. So, I mean, maybe it would have been the other way around, but like Blue, though, he sort of feels like he's kind of like this person.
Well, because weird. We watch Blue, we all love Blue, and you love Blue, and he loves us, so that gives him a soul, I think. And I think he goes somewhere when he dies. I don't think he just turns into.
Yeah, so.
I really believe that. Which isn't logical at all, but I believe it.
Well, it doesn't have to be logical. Nobody said. There's a lot of
this
stuff out there.
Hat Man stuff really bothers me, and I mean, have you heard from other people that ever saw this Hat Man? Why do I go online and I find the exact image I saw? That freaks me out. I'm 52. That was 45 years ago.
Hey, we're about the same age. I kind of thought we were the same age when you were saying in the 80s type of, you know, where you know, that's just about the same age.
And I looked on Google, and that road now, they developed it. There's really like one apple tree in somebody's front yard now. They have houses all down there now. But it used to be an orchard, and I don't know. I met a chef one day who lived down that street. He lived in an old farmhouse, and I said, is there paranormal stuff that goes on down that street? And I think he was just, you know, playing along, because he goes, oh, yeah, it's very, some weird shit happens down there. I live in an old farmhouse. We have ghosts all the time. I mean, you know, certain areas are, what do they call it, portals? Or they have a lot of paranormal phenomena in certain areas. Depending on the
paranormal. Yeah.
You know, certain areas are more prone to that. Well, this guy lived on that road, and he said, that they had ghosts in the old farmhouse he lived. He was a chef. Seemed rational, but I don't know if he was just telling me what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, hard to say. But, let's see. Well, Lou, you got in 3 great stories that can't be explained away, nor will I try to. Okay. And I think I gotta go take care of some stuff now, but I gotta make sure Blue's feeling better. He's down and out. All right.
Okay, but everything I've told you is.
I agree. I believe you. I'm not. I believe what you're telling me. But I think you need to.
The only reason I called in is because I had like 3 vodka drinks, and I got up the nerve to talk about this stuff because I don't like to talk about it. I really
but now, if I do another show and you call up and say, "Oh yeah, I remember this other one, Gray. I've got 4th now," then I'll start going. Okay, Lou.
No, originally I meant to tell you all 3, but when I first called, I was like, "Well, the first one isn't paranormal. It's just like, to me, it was a bad dream." You know what I mean? But then when I look online and everybody else sees the Hat Man, I have to wonder, does Gray have an explanation for this? Do your listeners have any explanations for the Hat Man? Why do we all see the same thing?
Yes, why do we all see the same thing, everybody? And that will be on the next episode with Lou.
I never saw a gray alien. I never saw anything like these other things people see, but these are the things that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I don't like it that I can't explain it. You know, it really bothers me. Because I can explain everything else.
Yeah.
Scientifically, rationally.
I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah, the unexplainable is bothersome.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants an explanation, but sometimes there just isn't one. That's what I mean. I can't give you an explanation why. Like, my brother died on March 13th, 1986, but his birthday is March 9th. Then March 9th, 1987, a year later, they named the basketball court at the fraternity after him, and I'm out there by myself shooting baskets on his birthday, and up in the sky is a big balloon. It floats right down into my hands on the basketball court. A big cellophane happy birthday balloon in the middle of, March when it's raining outside. Okay? So that was weird. I can't explain that.
What are the odds? What are the odds? What are the odds, really?
Yeah, it's like, like astronomical. Astronomical. So,
Okay, now that you brought that up, I'm going to have my wife call in, because when her brother died when he was 18 in 2001, some really strange stuff happened.
Have her call in on next week's personal paranormal experience.
Yeah, I will.
How about that?
I will. I'm sure she's sleeping right now, but this stuff is going to blow your mind, because it really happened. I was there, and I, of course, looked for a rational explanation and said, "Oh, it's just chance." But
yeah, well, don't say anything. Don't even say anything. You're spoiling it already. All right. Yeah, just have her call in next time. But just usually every Friday right around 8 o'clock. All right.
Friday 8 o'clock.
Yeah, about something like that.
This is really going to blow your mind, though. The odds, like you just said, what are the odds? Or I said, what are the odds? The odds against all this stuff happening right after he died is in the 1,000,000,000 to 1 category.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks, Lou. I'm going to end the show. I'm actually going to be ending the show here in a minute, but I appreciate you calling in. And that was Lou with his third incredible story, The Hat Man. All right.
Are you mocking me, Greg? Are you mocking me?
Oh no, I'm just pretending, doing the radio voice. I wasn't mocking you though. I was just doing the radio voice. Oh jeez. All right. Anyways.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Lou. That was good. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. See you. Bye. Yes, and that was Lou. His stories were. I'm going to go back. I'll go through them myself. I'm going to actually end the call, the meeting. I mean, yeah. So his stories were that he was on a road, and they were listening to the radio, and they started hearing alien dialect voices from all the channels. Then there was a feeling of electricity that they felt like, kind of like when you get static electricity. So he goes, "We got to get the hell out of here." And he drove to the end of the road, and they looked back to where they had been, and there was a flash of light. And he's always wondered, he and his friend, what would have happened had they still been in that position. Then at another time, Lou was in a bar. The bartender was pouring drinks, and he looked at her and said, "Do you see that guy behind you?" And she said, "No, what does he look like?" And then he described a person with John Lennon glasses on and 1970 light clothing. And then immediately her husband said, "Oh boy, she's going to be talking about this for 3 weeks," because who Lou described was the bartender's dead brother. Okay. Then in the 1990s, or actually not 1990s, way prior to that, in the 1970s, Lou had sleep paralysis, and he saw the Hat Man that so many other people have seen. And there you go. Those are Lou's stories of the personal paranormal experience variety. Yes. Also, everybody, thank you for calling in tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Took a little bit to get going there, but it's always fun hanging out. I was literally on the minute. It was 30 minutes the show had been going on, and I was about to, well, actually 25 minutes. I was about to quit the show. And then I got Soulja Photos called in. And then the show continued. And look at how long it lasted. Another 2 hours. Yeah, I almost need to get somebody to call in just to call in. Just to, you know, get other people to feel comfortable about it. Yes. Anyways, everybody, I really appreciate you showing up tonight on Personal Paranormal Experiences live call-in show. I don't know if you'd call it a podcast or what you'd call it, but I think it's interesting. So if you guys could go out and share the channel and get more people to subscribe, because what we need to get this up to is at least, you know, like 5,000-10,000 people, so that we have 200 or 300 people watching, and then the number of stories and people wanting to call in to tell their stories will grow. But right now we sort of have the same pool of people calling in or watching, so there's no new stories. So I could eventually see it drying up. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm laying down? All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for, let's see, morph into an art bill type show with lots of, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's called, the channel's called Personal Paranormal. Yeah, maybe, I mean, it's, I guess we could do something like that. Talk about all kinds of different things, but I just think there's so many people that have their stories that they want to tell. They just need to know that the channel exists, right? So if you guys could please go out and share it, that would be great. Okay. I mean, I could promote it more on my channel, my other channel, but I don't know. I've tried. It's in all the chats and everything. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Read some stories, people. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And I could read it to, you know, off the air, and then, you know, put some of that music behind it or something, and then kind of just switch to different stories. It was a cold, damp night in eastern Oregon. The only thing that I could see were 2 owls. At least I thought they were owls. They turned out to be barbarians. Anyways, all right. That might be cool. Send in your stories, everybody. Send me emails with your stories. I might rewrite them to fit the way I would say it, but yeah. Yeah, I kind of did that tonight a little bit. Yeah, we talked about golf. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, everybody. I think that's it for tonight. And like I said, I appreciate you all showing up, and we'll just keep on trucking, see if we can build up the channel. But I'm going to need your guys' help to get people to subscribe to it. All right? And thanks, everybody, for calling in. Lou, you little sneaker. You got a second call in there with another story, but you're kind of fun, actually, to have on the show. All right? It kind of reminds me, sounded a little bit like George. You guys remember George from the crime days? A little bit, had a little similar sound there. All right. I keep saying that. I'm having a hard time saying goodnight to you guys. But listen. Yeah. I wish I could say, well, the thing is, I say be safe out there on all the shows, because it's the same, even in the paranormal world. All right. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow out on the other channel, but there might be a day where I'm taking off because I got to switch computers pretty soon. I've got the other one. I've been installing stuff, and I need to switch it over. All right. So until next time, everybody, be safe out there.